O Lord, make this youth radiant, and confer thy bounty upon this poor creature. Bestow upon him knowledge, grant him added strength at the break of every morn, and guard him within the shelter of thy protection, so that he may be freed from error. May him devote himself to the service of thy cause. May guide the wayward, lead the hapless, free the captives, and awaken the heedless, that all may be blessed with thy remembrance and praise. Thou art the mighty and the powerful.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that prayer, Louis. And welcome everyone to this installment of Baha'i Viewpoint. I have a show that I've been looking forward to having for a while. One of the things that we've been told to focus on in our communities is youth, and to expose the youth and to help the youth develop. And so us older guys, just slightly older than youth, have to sometimes be creative and also have to prompt the youth, you know. But then there come spirits like yourselves who have taken the call upon themselves. And so we're going to take a minute to introduce. People know you, don't they, Louis? Tell them a little something about yourself.
I'm Louis O'Neill. I'm Mike O'Neill's son, and I stay in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. But to our guest from Texas, explain to us how you arrived in our fair city. Marta?
I'm 14, right?
No, I'm 16.
Oh.
16.
From Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, my name is Mahta Ostadian. I'm from Austin, Texas. Actually, I'm from Round Rock, Texas, which is just like 20 minutes north of Austin. I lived there for about 3.5 years now and moved from Florida. Went to college there. My family also lives there. I graduated from college and now I'm here doing a semester of service in the southern region.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and gonna start med school in August.
Wow, well, welcome. What are you studying?
In med school, I don't know yet. What you do is you just do 4 years of general medicine, and then from there you go into residency and specialize.
Well, welcome,
So I'm
my
not
sister,
certain.
and thank you for helping us.
You're welcome.
Yes, and Artemis.
Well, Mike, thank you for having us. This is
you're
wonderful. How many of your hundreds and hundreds of programs? We're so happy to be here. This is a wonderful thing. And your beautiful city of Savannah.
Oh, yes.
Wow, we just got a little glimpse. We've seen it in Gone with the Wind and Garden of Good and Evil. But
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I think I have to get Forrest Gump in there
Forrest
somewhere.
Oh yeah, Forrest Gump. But now we're getting the real experience.
That's right.
So thank you so much for inviting us.
Yes.
My name is Artemis Kourosh, and I am a third-year law student. I finished 2 years of law school already at Southern Methodist University, and because I'm a Baha'i, I've taken off this semester. So we started December 20th. We got in the car and we started driving, and we're driving around the South, me and Mahta, and we're doing programs for youth, for Baha'i youth, for people who aren't Baha'is, you know, for all youth. You know, we have from age 12 to age 30, 25, 30, yeah. We even let the 30-year-olds in. So the senior youth.
Yeah, oh, yes,
You know,
yes.
and,
I just recently left that category.
Oh, you left? I didn't know. You shouldn't have told us. So we do programs for the youth. I mean, this is something that me and Mahta have been involved in for several years. I grew up in this system of, it's called training institutes, and you know, since you're a Baha'i, you know all about it. We have training institutes, so the friends can, so that the youth can look within themselves and see beautiful spirituality and really find God within themselves, so that the things in the world right now that just aren't so good don't really affect them, so that they can, you know, really grow. And because the Baha'i faith, you know, it has so many good answers for youth, you know, to so many problems, and so we just serve them to find those things within themselves during these weekend courses.
Well,
so that's what we're doing for the whole 9 months.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, did someone coordinate you guys meeting? Did you know each other prior to leaving? Or I mean, 9 months traveling could be an interesting event in itself.
My sister.
Actually,
Do you want to say?
Sure.
Okay, go.
Artemis and I, we both went to the University of Texas at Austin together. And during that time, we weren't that close. We knew each other. We were friends. But, you know, I moved to Austin like the day before I started college. So I was still like getting oriented with the environment and everything. So I was kind of, Artemis would always come to me and try to like make me feel welcome, but I was kind of like shying back. But through that, eventually we became friends and we knew each other more, and we have like a really good mutual friend that we both love dearly. And go ahead, tell the rest of the story of how
Well,
we
Matt
started.
is not really telling you. Well, I went to
Give
the
us the
college.
skinny.
Yeah, you're gonna hear the whole truth. Well, what really happened is I lived in I went to school in the College of Communications, and there was a coffee stand outside the College of Communications, and that's where Mahta used to work. But I was involved in the Training Institute in these weekend programs for youth, and so I was trying to get Mahta involved in them, right? But she didn't want to be involved in them because she didn't know how wonderful they were. You know, for me, like they've been so wonderful because I always felt a lot of pain before I was involved in the Baha'i faith and in these institutes, because I felt the pain of, like, you know, the Word of God, like the Bible and the Baha'i writings were all there, but I didn't know how to make that go to my heart, you know? And the Training Institute taught me how to do that. So I was trying to get Mahta involved in the Training Institute, and so there's something called study circles.
Oh, yes.
And the study circles are like the Training Institute, not the weekends, but maybe just like during the week you come for a couple of hours each week, and then you do service to the community, you study the Word of God. So I was trying to get Mahta to come, right? And she really didn't want to come because she didn't know what it was about and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would like walk out there, but I would like sometimes see her like hiding underneath the coffee stand, acting like she was making a latte or something, you know, avoiding me. But she finally got into it, and then so.
Well, the thing about these training institutes is I believe that unless you take a course, you can't really know the true power of its transformative power. And so, like, I had never taken one before, and so she would always come around and be like, hey, Mahta, do you want to be part of my study circle? And I was always like, you know, I'm trying to be a doctor. I don't think I have time for this. You know, I love the Baha'i faith, but this is going to take a lot of time. And so it wasn't till like a year or so after that that I was finally dragged into it. And once I got into it, I was like, wow, this is the most amazing, beautiful thing.
It's very interesting. This process occurs over and over again in our journey through the faith. The first part of it is like the part where you have to furrow the ground, put the seed in the ground, and there's a lot of work involved. It seems like work, and it seems like your hands are dirty from the dirt and everything. You know, I'd prefer not to go through this, but in order for the growth process to take place, it has to happen. You know, and then after that, I mean, you're converted. I mean, you want to work because you know the fruits will come.
Exactly.
But it happens, to me, it's happened in all the processes of my Baha'i evolution.
Wow.
And I'm just so thankful and proud of you both
Thank you so much.
for coming here and helping us.
But you know what really changed things, I think, is that Abdul Baha, the son of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, says love is the secret. You know, so I think that whenever you don't know the answer to something, you know, that love is the secret. Love tells you, love guides you, and love solves everything, you know? So he says love is the secret. So I think that when Mahta started seeing how my love grew, she wanted to be more involved in it, you know?
Yes, yes, I do. You know, we talk about service, and you guys have mentioned service. I'm in a place in my life where I find it very difficult to go any length of time without providing service. Even in the things that I consider that are for myself. I says, is this providing some service to someone? Because I've fallen in love with it. You know, I've fallen in love with being in service.
Right.
You know, and once you just fall in love with something, what does Abdul Baha say? There's always time.
Because
Where there's love, nothing is too much trouble, and
there
there's
will always
always
be
be
time.
enough time.
Yeah, that's right.
I had to say that prayer one time.
It's amazing. And when we start something, the first thing we say, and particularly I've heard it in many occasions, not just with youth or with adults, there's not enough time. I'm busy. I have plans. You know, but you guys have taken a piece out of your life to serve this cause, and I don't take that very lightly. I think you are, you know, heroines of the faith and models.
Thank you so much.
Extraordinary, actually.
Actually, in the car while we were driving, we were talking a bit about this, and Artemis and I were talking, and I was saying how so many times in my life there has been times that I could have either gone one way or another. And like at the point I am in right now, I can't imagine a life without service. And I feel like that's like everything that I have to do in my life revolves around service.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Louis, well, you've helped us. You've helped us very recently in helping to put together the website.
Oh, yes. Me and Dr. Zaire actually got together and decided that, because since we already had a center and we were doing things around the community, you know, I guess the next place to go was to the World Wide Web. So we got together, we purchased the Savannah Baha'i name, and it actually took us a while, but now we have the Savannah Baha'i website up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's www.savannahbaha'i.org.
Wow.
And it's lovely. It has all the links to the National Baha'i website and everything. It's gorgeous.
Great.
I want everyone to go there, please.
Good plug. Good plug. He's good, folks.
Wow,
Good plug
great.
for the website.
Well, you got us. We're gonna be.
I know, we're out there. We're there.
Actually, if we get pictures of you, you know, we put them in our photo album, and then we put the photos on the website, and people can look at the website and see who has visited us.
So once you leave Savannah, you will be in our website.
Wow. Awesome. I feel my traces will remain.
Exactly.
You know, what you were saying about, you know, just being like really outstanding. You know, when I look at the other Baha'i youth around the world, around this, America, I don't feel so outstanding. You know, when I look at other Baha'i youth, because of what the Baha'i faith has given us, you know, we're given a lot of exposure to all the religions as we grow up. You know, our parents educate us about God and all the religions, and you know, and the Baha'i faith, and you know, we're really encouraged to serve and to love and to pray. And when I look around, I don't really feel like me and Mahta are so extraordinary. There are so many Baha'i youth all over this country that are doing so much service, amazing things. You know, and it's not like I mean, just service to the community, and I mean, service, like one of my friends started a program to teach children how to use the arts, you know, so that they can stay off the streets, you know, and to really spiritualize them. So I don't think like we're so amazing, you know, as Baha'is. I mean, we're just always striving. We're always striving.
Well, you know, I think that what it is that even though many of us believe that we should serve, there is a line, a clear line between those who believe and those who perform. You know, and even though the numbers are much larger than just us.
Yes.
But what we want to do is, by our striving and by our performing, be a model to others. And that's the part that's important, because when people can visualize, when they can see service, put a name on it, well, then it's a lot easier to do it. And we'll talk more about this when we come back from this very short message. Is that okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this very short message.
If you only had a moment and the world was listening, what would you say about peace? You could say peace is inevitable, that war will end, either through decision or destruction. We have a choice. For the first time in history, it is possible to view the entire planet with all its human diversity as it truly is. Our world is one world. Peace is more than just an end to war. Conflicts just as deadly are raging on hidden battlefields in our hearts and minds. Let's talk peace, real peace, racial, religious, social, economic, personal peace. Peace is possible, because it too begins in the heart. A thought for peace from the Baha'i Faith.
O my glorious Lord, help me to refrain from every irregular inclination. to subdue every rebellious passion, to purify the motives of my conduct, to conform myself to that meekness which no provocation can ruffle, to that patience which no affliction can overwhelm, and to that integrity which no self-interest can shake, that I may be qualified to serve thee and teach thy word. Abdu'l-Baha.
Wow, I don't think I've heard that one before.
Doesn't sound familiar to me.
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're back for the second part of the show. And on the first part, we ended by saying, none of us actually feel as though we're special Baha'is. Sometimes almost to the point, almost to a fault. Because, it does, life requires models oftentimes. And many times in our development process, if we really were to evaluate it carefully, there were models. Sometimes maybe not good models, because you're, in my estimation, you're always modeling something. You'll hear, one of the things that I hear from oftentimes athletes these days, they'll lament, I don't want to be a role model. I'm not a model. And why I lament that is because, in my estimation, you're always modeling something, good or bad. And so I think those of us who step up and try and model something that we consider positive should be lauded for it, because you want to shine the light on that. Because as you said earlier, Artemis, there's a lot of bad things going on, and there's a lot of that being modeled. So those of us who are modeling something a little better, let's point it out. And so you guys have been traveling for how long now?
Since December 20th.
December 20th. Oh, so.
We're going to go to August 20th.
Okay, we'll have you guys back in month 8.
We'll still be smiling.
Oh, well, good. Who sets your itinerary? I mean, how does it? So you do that?
Well, now Mahta does it, but I started out by doing it. But now Mahta does it.
Yeah, Artemis started out, she had the idea of just traveling around and serving the training institutes in the South. And so you worked with Susan Nosa, right?
Yeah.
And,
I was part of one of the training institutes, and then the training institutes are sponsoring us, so they just asked us when to come. But Mahta does our logistical part,
yes.
do the planning. That's why I talked to you, Mike.
Right, right.
Without her, we'd be maybe in North Carolina.
It's very crazy. This thing requires planning. Oftentimes my mind goes back to the trip that Abdu'l-Baha took when he visited the United States. Abdu'l-Baha, the son of Baha'u'llah, who visited the United States in 1912, 1912. Yes. And how these things have to be planned. I mean, you could do it, but I really wouldn't be as comfortable just getting on the road, not having an idea of where you're going.
We have a pretty strict itinerary. We're constantly moving.
Well, there are quite a few states. Are you going to try and just go one way, or are you kind of just going to go where?
Circular movement.
Well, actually, this is how we started. December 20th, we went to Atlanta. We went to Atlanta first for a few days, and they had a retreat for Baha'i youth there, and youth that aren't Baha'is as well. It was just like a spiritual revolution type retreat. So we helped out there. We tried to serve a little. We did a little workshop for them, a 2-hour workshop, and we also talked about the training institutes. So from there, we went to D.C. We took a flight there because it was just too much to drive there and come back. And so we flew to D.C. and they had a congress there as well, it was a youth congress, which is like a time where youth got together and they talked about the things going on throughout the year and then make plans for the future of the Baha'i youth movement. And so we went there and we helped do some training with some youth there, and those youth served as people that would help out the other youth.
Facilitators.
Facilitators.
Of the conference.
Oh, okay.
Of the other youth at the
Yes,
conference.
yes.
So we did that for a few days, and then
was
from
awesome.
that was
so
an amazing experience.
many Baha'i youth
And
there.
where was this?
This is Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Just loving each other and just having this real unity. You know, it was awesome. I mean, just thousands.
Yeah.
You know.
We
So you
felt-
guys enjoyed it?
well, yeah. We felt like an immediate heart-to-heart connection with the youth there. Even though we didn't know them, we didn't even need to know them. Like immediately through the word of Baha'u'llah, we felt a connection with them. And so we did that there, and then we flew back to Atlanta. And then what did we do from there, Artemis?
We left our hearts there with all those Baha'i youth, you know, and it was wonderful because the Congress is different from a conference. Because a conference, I think, is kind of like a point of illumination. Everybody comes to be illuminated. But a Congress is one step higher. It's a point of emanation. You know, it's not just illumination, but emanation. And the youth that came to this Congress were just getting ready to go out there and serve.
Okay.
You know, they were
Yes.
learning how to serve better, to serve their communities, to serve their people, to serve, you know, to start these projects. And so it was wonderful. We left our heart there. Then we went to Florida.
Yes.
And in Florida, we spoke in different locations to the youth about the training institutes. And then we went back to Texas for a week.
Right, right.
Yeah, our families were like, you got to come back. So
Oh, yes. Well, I can only imagine if my daughters were a few thousand miles away from home.
Constantly. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, and I'd be certain then God bless your parents for
Oh gosh,
helping you with
that's
this.
another story.
No, thank God. We pray for them every day. We thank God for them, you know, because there's not very many people that would really just support their kids, you know, doing this kind of thing and just going out and doing.
I've had the opportunity to travel myself to the continent of Africa. For instance, I've visited 15 countries there, as well as Israel, places, you know, such as that. And so I can only imagine how your parents are feeling, because when I was there, prayer was almost, you could feel it. You know, when you look up and you realize that you won't be able to get home on the bus tonight, you know, if something goes wrong. You are actually in God's hands a little further. You know, it's a little easy to realize it than sometime when you're maybe in your living room saying a prayer on your favorite couch and you're in all your comfort zones. So one of the things that your travel do is I feel as though it brings you a little closer. And our writings say a great deal about that.
Right.
As a matter of fact,
Exactly.
that what happens when a person travels
Yeah.
in service to the cause.
Because you have to be a little bit more detached from your everyday life. You know, you don't have the same things that you did.
Schedule.
Although, like, I gotta be honest, before I started this traveling service, I thought it would be very different. I thought we'd have like so many different kind of physical hardships that I
yes,
think
yes.
you would have if we were, you know, outside of the country. But we've been treated so well at the places we're staying. It's amazing. I find that the tests that I'm experiencing, and I think Artemis as well, is more like of a mental and emotional type test, and I think those are really like just as extreme,
yes.
or maybe
Yes.
you know, if not a little
Yes.
more. But
You know, earlier we were talking about heroes and heroines, and I saw your eyes kind of perked up. What were your thoughts on some of these heroes and heroines of our faith?
Well, for me, I mean, it's been so wonderful to travel and to see the Baha'i community all over the South. You know, the Baha'i community, we're worldwide, but just to see our brothers and sisters in the South, you know, all the rainbow and just the beauty of, I just can't tell you, like, I mean, being a Baha'i is so wonderful for me, but being a Baha'i woman is especially wonderful because this is the time. In the Baha'i faith, women have been many of the heroines of and the people that we look to in our faith are women.
Oh, yes.
The role models of our
yes.
faith are women. So it's not like, for me, like, I don't feel like being a woman and just going out and doing this is like, I'm not the first one. And I feel myself putting my footsteps where my sisters have put them before.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, yes.
Right.
You know?
Yes. Oh, you're talking to someone who has a daughter named Tahareh.
Wow.
So,
and Tahareh. And I
Yes.
mean, the revolutionary of our faith was
Yeah.
Tahareh. And
Yeah.
she, in front of all of these people who had never seen a woman unveiled, she ripped off her veil. Our warrior in our faith, our warrior who fought to defend, you know, in the time before the Baha'i faith, there was a Baha'i faith,
the
of
Baha'i
course,
faith, yes,
and the
yes.
Babis were allowed to defend themselves because, you know,
Yes.
just like Christians were persecuted, the Babis were as well. And Zainab was the warrior. She was a 14-year-old girl who would ride out at the front of all of the troops. You know, the warrior of our faith was
Yes.
a girl.
Yes.
You know, just like me and Mahta.
Yes.
And in our own country.
yes.
In our own
Yes.
country, we have Agnes Alexander, who we know was one of the first fighters for racial unity. A woman
Yes,
of
yes.
high prestige, but yet put that all down to travel the South like me and Mahta. We have Martha Root, who called the cry of our faith. And it just goes on and on and on. So I feel that we're putting our footsteps where our sisters have put them before. It's not like we're having to break the way open. Our Baha'i friends are receiving
opened the
us,
way.
you know, and they've opened the way for us. And I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh,
For
yeah.
me, that's been the most wonderful part.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So-
There was one of our books I was reading not long ago called "Standing on the Shoulders of Giants."
Yes.
Yes.
You know, so and sometime when we may begin to think that it's just us, all we have to do is look back and look around, and people have already spilled the blood and given the sacrifices that enable us to be where we are, so that
Exactly.
we can leap from where we are into service.
This is the first time that women have taken this role in the history of all religion, in a mass.
Yes, yes, and it has only begun.
It has only begun.
Wow, I love your energy, and I can only thank you guys for coming and helping us to do the show today.
Thank
and
you, Mike.
Hopefully we'll have you back on the
Go around.
back side of the trip.
We hope to be back.
Dear friends, thank you for watching this installment of Baha'i Viewpoint. Be sure to look at the website that you've seen talked about today. Until next time, I'm Mike O'Neill for the Baha'i Community, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
There's a new world in the making. Won't you sing along with me? We are one family. We are too close not to let it be. We are sisters and brothers. We are a coat of many colors, you and me.
O thou provider, thou hast breathed over the friends in the west the sweet fragrance of the Holy Spirit, and with the light of divine guidance thou hast lit up the western sky. Thou hast made those who were once remote to draw near unto thyself. Thou hast turned strangers into loving friends. Thou hast awakened those who slept. Thou hast made the heedless mindful. O thou provider, assist thou these noble friends to win thy good pleasure, and make them well-wishers of stranger and friend alike. Bring them into the world that abideth forever. Grant them a portion of heavenly grace. Cause them to be true Baha'is, sincerely of God, Save them from outward semblances and establish them firmly in the truth. Make them signs and tokens of the kingdom, luminous stars above the horizons of this nether life. Make them to be a comfort and a solace to humankind and servants to the peace of the world. Exhilarate them with the wine of thy counsel, and grant that all of them may tread the path of thy commandments. O thou provider, the dearest wish of this servant of thy threshold is to behold the friends of east and west in close embrace, to see all the members of human society gathered with love in a single great assemblage, even as individual drops of water collected in one mighty sea, to behold them all as birds in one garden of roses, as pearls of one ocean, as leaves of one tree, as rays of one sun. Thou art the mighty, the powerful, and thou art the God of strength, the omnipotent, the all-seeing. Abdul-Baha.
Anis, I love to hear you read, as you know that by now. Welcome, everyone. I'm Michael O'Neill with my co-host, Linda Adamson, and
Hi
this
there.
is Baha'i Viewpoint. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for opening up with that prayer.
No problem.
Anis Mojgani is our guest this week. A very, very wonderful poet and artist in many ways, and we're just so glad to have him.
You know, when you were reading that, it said, a servant of thy peace. And I thought, how appropriate for you, because your poetry really reaches right down into the hearts of people.
Well, thank you.
And I was listening to the description of what he was reading, really, and it touched me that you're many of those things yourself, Anis. And we're very happy to have you here, a craftsman of words.
Anis,
So,
tell us a little something about yourself. We know you, but tell us a little something for our vast audience.
Our vast audience. I don't know.
Yeah.
What of my vastness do you want to hear about? I guess? I don't know.
You're a student,
Yes.
I hear.
Yes, I am. Working on my master's in fine arts in media and performing arts.
Mm.
Have about a year to go on that.
And you attend, of
The
course.
Savannah College of Art and Design.
You've been in Savannah a while.
Been in Savannah a while, 5.5 years or so. So I'm an undergraduate there as well. So.
You're from
New Orleans, Louisiana.
and you're a what, second generation Baha'i?
My father is Baha'i. His family goes back till, I don't know, probably inception. I don't know.
Wow.
I mean, he comes from Iran, so
very old Baha'i family.
Your mother is of African American
yes.
descent, isn't she?
And they both met in college when my father had come over to the States to study in Louisiana.
Shoot. What made you choose art?
I don't think it was so much something I chose. It's just something that I did, and it was always just the path for me to take, I suppose.
So you discovered that you had this gift, probably in your high school days? or when
Well, I
did
mean,
you-
I've always drawn, and I don't know if necessarily a gift, but because I believe that pretty much every single person is an artist. It's just whether or not they've been blessed, so to speak, I guess, to be guided in that direction in the way of their loved ones and their surroundings in the way that they grew up. You know, if I had grown up in a different household, I, might not have been as guided towards doing what I enjoyed doing. So I thank my parents very much for that. So.
Well, Linda, as you know, every opportunity we get, we present our artists. And Anis is, as humble as he is, certainly represents that.
I think one of the reasons that we do that, it might be well to go into that, is that art and poetry and things of this ilk actually reach directly heart to heart, and they speak to us without the filter many times of too much of the mind getting in the way, and they go right to the heart of the matter. And I know in your poetry is incredibly powerful. I'm lucky enough to have a copy of your printed book of poetry, your published book of poetry, which is quite wonderful. One of the things that the Baha'i faith teaches is really getting on that heart-to-heart level. I'll read a little hidden word, one of our wonderful hidden words that we're going to
As a matter of fact, we do
That's
something
right.
with the hidden words.
That's right. That's right. We're going to be reading a hidden word every week on the program, and these are the wisdom of all ages, the wisdom of all the divine manifestations that have come before, that Baha'u'llah, as a kindness to us, read. And I'll read this hidden word. O my brother, hearken to the delightsome words of my honeyed tongue, and quaff the stream of mystic holiness from my sugar-shedding lips. Sow the seeds of my divine wisdom in the pure soil of thy heart, and water them with the water of certitude, that the hyacinths of my knowledge and wisdom may spring up fresh and green in the sacred city of thy heart. And I think that's a very good analogy of what poetry does, is that it reaches right down to the heart of the matter. And as a gifted poet, it really is a gift. And I think you're very blessed, Anis, and we're very blessed to have you here.
Thank you.
So,
And another thing, Anis, you know, even in this interview, Anis is just you know, it's just so easy and laid back. And I'll have to go back to the first time you were on the show. When he presents his art, he becomes a totally different person. It's just a wonderful thing. I mean, it's a
just
wonderful
the Siamese you don't usually.
It's the Siamese. It's part of that Gemini thing, huh? So now, when we come back from the break, what we'll do is we'll have you share something with us, and then after that, we'll find out where you got it from, and you know, what was the inspiration for it.
All right.
Does that sound like a good plan?
wonderful.
You okay?
Wonderful.
Stick around. We've got Anis Mojgani. We'll be right back.
If you believe there is only one race,
which was created in many different colors,
and if you believe that these differences are beautiful,
it should be the cause of unity,
and if you believe that our highest purpose
is to love each other
and live together as one family
with justice,
then you may want to look into the Baha'i faith.
Millions of people of every race, nation, and culture share these beliefs
as members of the Baha'i faith.
To love each other as one family.
To pray together as one family.
To respect the differences of one another.
And to light the hearts of one another.
These are goals of the Baha'i faith.
A religion dedicated to oneness.
I feel the hums of ancient drums in my veins. I feel the hums of ancient drums drumming in my veins. I am an angry black man because I bike the streets seeing my brothers who nod blankly at my face for they cannot see that I have a black mother. I am an angry black man who grew up colorblind but blind to my culture as well. An angry black man whose questions do swell in the face of a mirror. An angry black man who at times does not feel black enough to consider himself a nigger, trying to figure out what it means to have a black mother and a Persian father. I never thought of that while growing up. My pops was from Iran, my mom's was black, and that quite simply was just that. And I went on with my days, not worried what shade of skin my mother was. She was just my mom. Yet, as time goes on, my mind begins to swim, burning with questions and dreams, wondering if I will ever be accepted by a Persian community which speaks Farsi while I do not, or by a black nation just by listening to hip-hop, or by myself. wondering what myself is. I am an angry black man because I do not know what that means. I walk the streets staring at men whose skin is darker and darker than mine is, feeling as if I don't fit in, and I want to grab them, greet them, run up to them, tell them I am. Pull me in, tell me of yourself, tell me of myself, of what it means to carry dreams that continuously never take shape, dreaming of the next day in a nation that has shunned you in the sway of its history, that has forgotten you like dropped leaves, that has split your nation through lives of enslavement and years of segregation, what it means to constantly be in the situation of constantly looking over every single shoulder in the room because every single shoulder in the room is constantly looking over you. Tell me what it means to be connected to a line, connected to chains, connected to a string, connected to a land, connected to the strings on God's thumbs, connected to the souls of sisters and brothers, the souls of the plains, souls of my dreams, the hues of my nights, hearing hums in my veins. I try to escape through my brain, hearing hums in my veins, wanting to answer these questions again and again, but coming up blank. So I toss through the oceans of my sleep, penetrating these deep waters to try and figure out some choral answer, to salvage some lost ship which brought forth people who brought forth me. Somewhere I wonder, will I ever know the color of my soul? And I laugh at that. For I know who I am, I always have. A 23-year-old young man, born of a man from Iran and a mother African in origin, visually steering these bones through paintings and poems. I know who I am. But do I? So I climbed the hills of southern Maine and was greeted with a sloping history that dates back to the beginning of this century, and was greeted with a history that dates back 4 centuries, and was greeted with a history that dates back 14 years, and was greeted with 95 men with a history that dates back to me. 95 African eagles who gave me the feathers of their wings and taught me what it means to be myself, gave me the wings to carry myself upon, above, and through the realm of Abha on earth. I climbed the sloping hills of Green Acre Baha'i School and was greeted with another family who poured their love into me unconditionally for the sole factor that I am a person. That I am a person regardless of my thoughts of where I am, what I've done, what I haven't. They loved me. They love me. I am not a perfect Baha'i, but I am a perfect person. For I have 1 nose, 2 lips, 3 eyes, 4 limbs, 5 points, 2 lungs, 1 brain, 1 heart, and 1 part of a soul connected to God's, through which he blows his breath, making my side glow. I am a perfect person, for I have 2 hands trying to hold myself up, a spine attempting to stand straight, and a struggle that burns inside of me, testing me, pulling me every day a new chance, every second an open door, every thought part of that journey through my spirit, through dark and light, molding and chipping away, until one day all around a sphere of a planet so perfect, people will rise from its dust and yell, Ya Baha'u'llah Pa! Ya Baha'u'llah Pa to the heavens. And their footsteps will make rivers, their breath-shaped mountains, clouds will fall from their ears. A new race of man is within the rib cage of my chest evolving. They are shedding their tired limbs and in their place sprouting wings to carry my spirit into the meadows that God roams. I hear my bones whisper of my origin, telling me of the marks upon my skin, carrying marks similar to that of tree rings and dragon dreams that burn with love. I feel it in here, inside. And I'm waiting to spread it like the land beneath my feet, connecting my walks to people and continents, and the fish swimming in our head, golden shine like blind scatters on cars noonday, for I have walked dark days, and have darker ones to walk, but I am a perfect child. For I am loved unconditionally, spiritually, fully, with no strings attached, but the souls of the cello, playing chords of jellyfish here that can be seen by moles. I've walked dark days and am still walking through them. I am still walking through the fire, in the flames, every day, and I would not have it any other way. The struggle burns inside of me with every single breath, with every single step, with 95 brothers side by side, right to left, and 95 generations behind their steps, with souls sharp enough to cleft asunder the storms of this world, to split their thunder. Let the rains come. They will not douse me, for I am walking through the fire, in the fire, day by day, and I would not have it any other way. For I feel the hums of ancient drums drumming against the walls of my veins. I feel the hums of 95 brothers spinning suns rising through my veins. I feel the hums of 95 brothers' words from loving tongues in my veins. I feel the hums of ancient drums drumming in these veins. I feel the hums of my own drums beating beneath the skin wrapped around my veins. I feel the fire burning in my veins. I feel the love burning in my veins. I feel the love in my veins.
To achieve unity, we have to give up feelings of superiority of race, nation, culture, class, and sex that are the causes of prejudice. As we free ourselves from prejudice, we can treat all of humanity as our spiritual brothers and sisters. Unity does not require sameness and conformity. Unity means we must accept and respect differences of culture and race in the human family. Baha'is believe that God's prophets bring new social laws. Some new laws revealed by Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, are the complete equality of men and women, the agreement of science and religion, universal education for all children, a world language secondary to our native languages, and the elimination of the extremes of wealth and poverty. The diversity of the human family should be the cause of love and harmony, as it is in music, where many different notes blend together in the making of a perfect chord.
Welcome back, friends. And that was unbelievable. Thank you so much, Anis. That was that talk about blowing our minds, which is exactly what this is all about, heart to heart. That was absolutely fabulous. I want to read a prayer now and share a prayer with our audience. O thou compassionate Lord, thou who art generous and able, we are servants of thine sheltered beneath thy providence. Cast thy glance of favor upon us. Give light to our eyes, hearing to our ears, and understanding and love to our hearts. Render our souls joyous and happy through thy glad tidings. O Lord, point out to us the pathway of thy kingdom, and resuscitate all of us through the breaths of the Holy Spirit. Bestow upon us life everlasting, and confer upon us never-ending honor. Unify mankind, and illumine the world of humanity. May we all follow thy pathway, longing for thy good pleasure, and seek the mysteries of thy kingdom. O God, unite us and connect our hearts with thy indissoluble bond. Verily, thou art the giver, thou art the kind one, and thou art the Almighty.
Well, you know, Anis, many of us would like to be able to express the experience of the event that you were referring to in the way that you can. Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration for that poem?
Well, last time I was on the show, we talked about that, where last summer was privy to go up to Maine to a high school up there called Greenacre, and the third week of July for the past 14 years, it's been a gathering of black men, of African descent, and just a week-long celebration of love and spirituality, pretty much. And it was really just a mind-blowing and incredible experience. Something that I hope that every Baha'i and every person on this planet can somehow experience something along those lines at some point in their life, because it meant a lot to me, because I was at a point in my life over the past couple of years where have felt not necessarily a distance in my connection to God, but more of a distance in my connection to the Baha'i faith. Not as in what it is, but from, I guess, the man-made definitions of it as a religion. And felt as if I wasn't up to par or up to standard, whatever that is, the Baha'i standard, whatever that is, that I think a lot of people sometimes get lost in, as opposed to seeing the big picture that we shouldn't be judging ourselves in regards to that. And I was certainly tossed into this place with about 100 men from 18 to like 82 years old. And 86. With like not caring anything except for the fact that like I was there with them, and they just opened up to me so completely. And it helped me to try to put myself not where I feel as where I would like to be in regards to my station life, but on the path to getting there. And just 7 days of pure love is an amazing experience.
Yes, it is.
And so it came out through those words, through that piece, because it meant a lot to me to be accepted by African American men. My own insecurities in regards to that, I always feel as if I have to prove something to someone just because the fact that one glances at me and, one glances at my mother and they can't even really tell that she's black. And so for me to be in that situation where I was completely accepted really helped turn myself, looking inwards to accepting myself as an African American as opposed to looking for that acceptance from others. And so it was a very, very important time.
You're absolutely right. I went myself 5 years ago for the first time, and it was at that event that I was able to realize the conversations I never had with myself, because it's not the answer. You're not sure of the answer, and so you don't talk about it. We cannot talk about things with each other, but we cannot talk about things with ourselves. And it became okay.
So your consciousness really was just
extraordinarily raised, because it was okay for me to be an American of African descent. That's okay. And to be a world citizen at the same time. And we can very simplistically go back to the Baha'i principle of unity and diversity and find where Baha'u'llah has already addressed this. But sometimes you need a little spark inside to understand the real beauty of that statement.
Well, tell me about the fellowship. Women have meetings all the time, and that's, for women, it's very okay to express themselves to another woman. And in fact, that's one of the great strengths women have, is that they have a sisterhood that's sort of expected and okay with the world. But men sort of are more isolated. And so tell me what it was like.
I've never seen so much hugging and crying in your life.
Wow.
And
so you made up for lost time.
Oh, there's outright. Matter of fact, cameras aren't allowed. We don't allow cameras because
it's intimate.
It's very intimate. Brothers act just like they need to act to heal, and for that reason, there's no cameras or anything like that that would impede someone from being who they need to be in that safe environment.
Yes.
And I'm just so glad I was able to get Anis there after a little cajoling.
I don't think he's going to need to cajole.
Oh no!
Cajole this summer, huh?
Oh, gee. But once again, you are able to express the gathering in ways I never would have been able to, through your words, through your art. And it's just a tremendous contribution. One of the things that we've done, that we've chosen to do, Linda, as we've talked about on this show, is to share the words of Baha'u'llah, because we know that they are not only prophetic, but they are art at its highest expression.
Yes, the Hidden Words is like a book of poetry. It's just amazing. And if any of our friends out there would like a copy of the Hidden Words, just give us a call at the number that'll appear on your screen, or come by the Baha'i Unity Center on Waters Avenue.
2416.
Right. And we will be happy to send a copy of the Hidden Words to you. So I just want to make that clear. And the other thing is that on Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock, we have a Baha'i Sunday school for the children, and an adult session for the adults. And then on Wednesday evenings, we've started a sort of an information evening, explaining the basics of the Baha'i faith for any of you all who are interested in learning exactly what Baha'is believe, why we believe it, and what this is all about. So we're happy to have you either Wednesday evening or Sunday morning, and just want to be sure that that you're aware that we'll send you a copy of the hidden words, and you can examine them in the privacy of your home and let the words speak to you, your own heart.
That's right. And of course, it is free because we accept no
Yes.
donations.
Yes. In fact, Baha'is, that's one of the unique things about the Baha'i faith, is that we do not allow any person who is not a Baha'i to donate any money to the Baha'i faith. You are really not allowed that privilege until you are a Baha'i.
That's right. So anyone who wants to give a lot of money should become Baha'i. That sounds like simple enough, right? Anis, you know, whenever you're on the show, I'm just really uplifted. You know, you got me on the last time you were here. But I'll tell you, whenever I am privy to your art, it takes me to another place. And sometimes when I've heard our emphasis on art, you know, I had to work with it, you know. But when I see you perform,
you know what it's all about.
It really becomes much more clear to me the power of it, you know, and continue to do the things you're doing.
Will do.
You're a gift to our community and to everyone who listens to you, Anis, and so it's really been wonderful having you on the show, and we look forward to the next time.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So until then, what we're going to do, we're just going to go out with Mike O'Neill saying, be sure to take heed to the words of Linda Adamson a little earlier about getting a free copy of the Hidden Words. Our number is 790-7301. Call the number, get your free copy of the Hidden Words. Until next time, this is Anis Mojgani and Linda Adamson. I'm Mike O'Neill, and we'll see you then.
Bye.